Hey, it's Ian with Benzinga here at Hood Summit 25. I'm here with Vince Cicco, the Senior Director of Derivative Sales at Cboe. How's it going today?
It's going great.
Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
And what is the difference between an index and ETF options?
So, at a high level, I like to say that there's more similarities. We like to demystify a little bit. There's a lot more similarities between these different options than there are differences. But having said that, there are some key differences.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if we think of just the S&P 500 complex, the index options are the SPX and the mini SPX, which is 1/10 XSP. So those are index options. Obviously, on the ETF side, you'd be looking at something like SPY, right? The biggest differences are index options like SPX, XSP, RUT, have cash settlement. So, you think about it, if you're long an SPY option, so an ETF option, and it expires in the money, if you're long a call and expires in the money, you take possession of 100 shares of stock per option you have, right? With index options, there are no shares, so you end up, the position settles to cash.
Got it.
So that's one of the big differences. Two other differences, index options are subject to European, so they're European style, which just means that there is no early exercise or and on the flip side, no early assignment of those options. And lastly, there's 60/40 tax treatment. We're not tax advisors, but certainly you can consult your tax advisors. Index options are typically 1256 contracts, which means that they're taxed at 60% long-term capital gains, 40% short-term capital gains, regardless of the holding period. That's a little different that's a lot different than ETF options, which are taxed based on your holding period.
Right. So obviously there's been a lot of growth around XSP. Can you get into some details around why that's occurring and what you're seeing around that?
Yeah, and you hit a good point. XSP is actually the fastest growing of all Cboe index products. Last year, we were probably doing about 70,000 contracts a day. This year, we're regularly over 100,000. I think our average is about 110,000 contracts a day. Partially, that's due, the main thing is there's just more access now. Like we mentioned earlier, Robinhood now offers access to index options, so that's one conduit. Also, there are other brokers that have opened up access to XSP. Past that, as a result of all the new order flow, we're anecdotally seeing resulting improvements in market quality, so the bid-ask spread tightens up. And, and just at a high level, there's just more awareness of the product. And that comes from a lot of people, from the online communities to brokers themselves, to some education we're doing across the index space as well. So
makes a lot of sense. So to wrap things up, let's zoom out a little bit. What do you think is the biggest opportunity for growth around retail?
Yeah, we haven't even really scratched the surface. I mean, a lot of the volumes right now are in the United States. We're seeing more growth overseas than we see in the United States. We see a ton in the United States, but also overseas growth is a big thing. Robinhood even announced at this conference that they'll be offering access overnight to our index options. So it comes down to product awareness, the education that groups like our Options Institute, Cboe has an education arm called Options Institute. Most of the brokers, almost all brokers, have very strong education offerings as well. So I think the product is becoming a little bit understood and demystified. And with more people getting experience, they get a little more comfortable, dabble in a few new strategies, and and we've seen growth for several straight years.
Seems like a perfect recipe. On the one hand, you have a lot of more user awareness and user understanding, and then you have a ton more access through things like overnight and international growth.
Correct.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.